putting ABC News out of business. Okay, I mean, none of this stuff. He hasn't done anything to, quote, suppress freedom of the press. He hasn't done anything to silence the press. You want to know what Trump has done? He's criticized the press. He's looked them in the eye and said, you guys are lying. You guys are using dishonesty. You guys are not reporting things fair and accurately. You guys are actually reporting fake news in some cases. He's calling them to task. He's criticizing them. How is that censoring freedom of the press? How's that denying freedom of the press? It's not. But that's what John McCain suggested. And unfortunately, you get a lot of people in America, especially liberals, that can't stand Donald Trump, or some centrists and moderates as well. All they do is they see stuff like that and they go, well, yeah, boy, that Donald Trump is kind of bad. I mean, freedom of the press is a constitutional right, isn't it? And here's what the shame of it is. You got nobody out there. You don't have Chuck Todd on NBC's Meet the Press. You don't have any of the mainstream media correcting and fact-checking. Where's the Washington Post fact-checker on John McCain's claim? Where's somebody from the press to be able to go, we don't agree with Donald Trump's attacks on us, but in all fairness, he hasn't done anything to, quote, suppress freedom of the press, or to silence the press, or to deny constitutional rights of an open press. He hasn't done it. All he's done is criticize the press, and we disagree with those criticisms. But of course, the press is not going to correct or fact-check John McCain and his false assertion, are they? Which, if you really think about it, here's the ultimate irony, that just gives that much more credibility to Donald Trump's criticisms of the press, that the press is not honest in the way that they report. Because they fact-check the daylights out of Donald Trump. If Donald Trump sneezes, they're fact-checking that sneeze. Everything he says is like, okay, well, let's see, can we find anything here to say that this is factually inaccurate? None of that for John McCain. Why? Because it serves the purpose of tearing down Donald Trump. And if the media, who was all against John McCain in 2008 when they were supporting Barack Obama, if now today in 2017 John McCain makes Donald Trump his enemy, now the press kind of looks at it like this. Hey, the enemy of our enemy is our friend. And so now suddenly John McCain is the darling of the press. But I do want to remind everybody, it's this very same John McCain back in 2008 when he was running against Barack Obama. It's this very same John McCain that was the subject of a bunch of birther attacks. Everybody remember that? The whole birther movement? You might think, well, Bob, wasn't the birther movement a Barack Obama born in Kenya thing? Oh, no, that was the Obama birther movement. Before the Obama birther movement was the McCain birther movement from liberals in America. Anybody remember that? I do. The argument was John McCain isn't constitutionally eligible to be president of the United States. He wasn't born in the United States, and so he's not eligible. Remember that whole movement? You know how the press treated that? ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN? None of them acted like this was so wrong and so conspiratorial and so crazy and outlandish. None of them mocked and ridiculed the liberal left-wing birther movement. If anything else, they ran stories regularly. Look it up for yourself. Look up ABC and NBC and CNN and New York Times and Time Magazine and all the rest of them. They ran with these stories. Like, well, a lot of people are asking questions. Is there a serious question about whether John McCain is really eligible to be president? As a matter of fact, folks, it hit such a fever pitch that John McCain, as a United States Senator, actually produced his birth certificate on the floor of the United States Senate. Remember this? And then there was a vote in the United States Senate where they officially voted to declare, yes, he is a natural-born citizen of the United States. Okay, that's how big of a deal the birther movement from the liberals against John McCain was. That wasn't treated like some crazy radical thing. But then as soon as Barack Obama and the questions of whether he's born in Kenya, that whole birther movement from conservatives, that was treated with ridicule and mockery. And what a bunch of conspiracy theory wackos. Oh, and you know what else we heard? Those conservatives that are questioning whether Barack Obama is eligible to be president, they're only doing that because he's black. They wouldn't do that if he was white. Getting complete amnesia to the whole John McCain birther movement from the left. Well, that was then. The media was willing to play into the, hey, is John McCain really eligible? They were willing to do that then. But now, John McCain is the enemy of Donald Trump. The media is also the enemy of Donald Trump, so John McCain is now their best friend. And McCain, in my opinion, is being irresponsible in the stuff that he's saying. It's dishonest to imply that Donald Trump is somehow suppressing freedom of speech and freedom of press. He's not doing that at all, just by criticizing them.